Welcome to Tea Time Tuesdays. Tea Time Tuesdays, as you all know, my website is called Tender Wounds, and it's all for the people who are still healing from the shit that hurt them. My stories will be mine. Every Tuesday, I want to put out a story, a situation, whatever the case may be, that is directly related to me and how I have overcome it or I'm still going through it. Before I get into that, I want to recognize a clothing brand. It's called Out Past Curfew, and you can follow them at Out Past Curfew on Instagram.com. You can also go ahead and place your orders through him directly. He will make sure you get them ASAP. First story that I want to talk about in regards to tea time is something that I had put out there on my social media, my Instagram, about a few months ago when it first happened, and I got a lot of responses about it. Honestly, y'all, I didn't expect to get this much feedback regarding this topic, but since y'all wrote me about it in my DMs, I decided to put it out there. Today's topic is how I got my felony expunged. Yes, you can get felonies expunged. Is it hard work? Hell motherfucking yeah. Hell yeah. But can you get it done? Hell yeah. This is how I got it done. My charges were first degree attempted murder, second degree attempted murder, first degree assault, second degree assault, and assault with a deadly weapon. I pleaded guilty to first degree assault. Everything else got thrown out. First degree assault is still a felony, okay? So I pleaded guilty to that. In my plea deal, meaning before I even took the plea, my lawyer made sure that I could get a probation before judgment in 3 years of me pleading guilty to the crime. Probation before judgment is basically saying you fucked up, you did some shit, all right, but we're still going to give you a chance. Gave you like a sentencing before being judged. The state was trying to give me, state of Maryland was trying to give me 15 years in jail. In order to avoid that, I took a plea deal. I pleaded guilty. And in my plea deal, I would be eligible to be considered, not definite, but be considered for probation before judgment 3 years after I pleaded guilty. In order for me to be considered, I had to keep my head above water and not get caught in no shit. So I got my charge in 2013. I was convicted. I didn't do jail time after I got my conviction. I did do jail time before the whole shebang happened. In 2013, I was convicted. 2.5 years. I didn't have to wait the whole 3. In 2.5 years from me being convicted, I went back before the judge who had convicted me of being guilty. Oh, I must go ahead and say, the judge that I had for my case is the same judge who presided over the Freddie Gray case. Oh, yeah. And the time that I was going for my probation before judgment charge was during the Freddie Gray case. So, go figure. My lawyer went back before him. This was September of 2015. And my lawyer, he presented the evidence that I had not been in any trouble since my original conviction. He reminded him of his promise that he would consider giving me a PBJ, given the fact that I had not gotten myself into any other trouble. And so from there, the judge considered it, and boom, he gave me a PBJ. Thank you. So I got my PBJ, but that didn't mean that my charges were expunged. That just means my guilty plea had now been changed to a probation before judgment charge. In the state of Maryland, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but after you are given a probation before judgment, you have to wait 3 years after that probation before judgment is granted before you can file for an expungement. September of 2015, I was granted the probation before judgment change. So I still had to wait 3 more years. So September of 2018 comes, and I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna file for my expungement. I can get this shit erased off my record, right? wrong. I do the paperwork. I filed for my expungement to get processed September of 2018. I filed for the expungement and nope, they denied me. They denied me because Baltimore City said that I had an outstanding parking ticket. A motherfucking parking ticket. The parking ticket had nothing to do with my original conviction. It had nothing to do with the reason why I even had a charge. But I just want y'all to know that's the shit that happens when the system, first of all, when you get into the system and when the system tries to hold you back. That's just what the fuck happens. So after they denied my original expungement, I had contacted my lawyers to say like, yo, what's that? The fuck going on? I've had the same lawyer since 2013. We are now in 2019. His name is Howard Cardin. For anyone out there who may be going through the same thing, and anyone who is in Baltimore City, he can represent you in the whole state of Maryland, but he is not granted to represent you outside of the state of Maryland. Make shit happen, okay? I texted my lawyer and I was like, yo, Howard, what's up? What's going on? They denied me. He told me I can get my expungement. What's going on? So he said, basically, in the event of an expungement, they will try anything to deny you from having a clean record, including a parking ticket or a speeding ticket or whatever the fuck I had. It was some type of traffic ticket, whatever. So they will deny you based off of anything that they can. I paid the ticket, and on the phone, my lawyer told me that just because you got a denial from the attorney general, the state's attorney, that does not mean that they're not going to give you a court date. You will still be given a court date. Even if the state's attorney tries to deny your expungement, you will be given a court date to go in front of a judge to determine if you should have your charges expunged. I went in front of a judge in the month of November of 2018. The state's attorney was there. And before I went before the judge, you got to check in and all that shit. I'm like, hey, I'm Taya Miles, I'm here. What's up? I checked in. The state's attorney told her I was there. And she's like, Taya Miles, can I see you for a second? So I'm thinking like I can just skip the whole shit. And she like, you should expunge, see paperwork in the mail. No. She's like, we wanted to go ahead and expunge you, but we see you have an outstanding traffic ticket. And I'm like, no the fuck I don't. I paid it. It's like, no, we see you paid the one that we sent you a notice about, but there's still an outstanding ticket from 2016 in Prince George's County. Now, I'm not the brightest motherfucking bulb in the 60-watt pack that you get from the dollar store, but I know that if I had an outstanding traffic ticket from 2016, y'all would have been sent me a court date, and if I missed court, y'all would have been sent me a warrant. None of the above happened. So she pulls up the ticket that she's referring to, and she's talking about a ticket that occurred in Prince George's County in 2016 where I got pulled over. I'll admit my tags were expired. The officer told me, like, you get your tags and your registration up to date. You don't have to pay the ticket. Just come to court, show them your stuff is in good standing, and the judge will probably throw it out. Okay, cool. I never paid the ticket. I requested a court date. The problem that happened was Prince George's County had my incorrect birth date. They never gave me a court date to come to court. So the ticket that she was referring to was something that I had no control over. She said her piece, I said my piece. I said, you know what? We'll let the judge handle it. About an hour go by, y'all. Finally, I get called up to the stand. This is my expungement hearing. My lawyer told me he didn't need to come with me for the expungement hearing because as long as I had paid the ticket, I should have been good. Well, lo and behold, I didn't expect for the state's attorney to be putting some bullshit out her ass talking about a ticket from 2016, and we are now in 2018 at the time. So she presents her evidence to the judge. She tells her, yes, I have been in good standing as far as my criminal record is concerned. I paid the first ticket that they spoke of, but I didn't pay the second, and she feels that I shouldn't have my record expunged. So, y'all, I get up there in front of the judge. Judge, Your Honor, I understand what the state attorney is saying. However, I paid the ticket. That was the first block of why I didn't get my expungement. The second ticket that she mentioned is not my fault. I did my part as far as filling out the paperwork to send back to Prince George's County to request a court date. It's their fault that I never got a court date. I never received a court date. So as far as what I needed to do on my end, I did. I made sure that my registration was intact. I made sure that my tags were in good standing, as they are today. So as far as me not having a court date or paying the ticket, I didn't have to pay a ticket because I requested a court date. I never went to court because I never received a court date. That is not my fault. That is the job of Prince George's County Police Department or their secretary of the district court. So I made my points, and the judge listened to me, and she was like, you know, is your registration in good standing right now? Yes, ma'am, it is. Do you have it on you? Well, no, ma'am, I didn't. I didn't bring it in the courthouse because I didn't think that I would be pulled for a traffic violation in order to get the first degree assault felony expunged. It has no correlation, so I wasn't expecting that. But if you need me to run back to my vehicle, which is parked down on Charles Street, which is about 3.5 miles from this courthouse, I can do so. She said, yeah, go ahead. We'll wait for you. I have the clerk wait for you. Cool. Y'all, it took me about a good 30 minutes to get to my car, get the registration, get back to the courthouse, get searched again by security, and make it back upstairs to the courtroom that I was assigned to. By the time I got back to the courtroom, the judge was gone. Sis said bye. Bye-bye. It was the clerk, it was some junior attorneys, junior state's attorneys, and that was it. That's all who was left. So I walked in with my registration. I'm like, you know, here you go. He read what my registration stated, and then he read the directions that the judge had left him, basically saying that as long as my registration was in good standing, my charge could be expunged. My shit got expunged. Y'all, I have spent over $15,000 in this case on my lawyer alone. Another $7,000 on bullshit. That's only on this case alone. So we're talking about a good $21,000, give or take. I may be missing some bills on getting your fucking life together. Do y'all know what the fuck I could have did with $21,000 right now? Okay. I said all of that to say it was worth it. It was so worth it. I've gotten people that have hit me up in my DMs and my messages asking me how did I get my charge expunged. And honestly, y'all, it's a case-by-case thing. What I can tell you is if you have a good lawyer, you have a good plan with your lawyer. Because as a civilian, I don't know shit about law, okay? I know a few laws, but I don't know the loopholes and what you can do and say. And honestly, him embedding in my plea deal that I was going to be able to be considered for a probation before judgment is something that is or was the highlight and the pivotal moment of me being able to get my expungement. I say all of that to say, y'all, yes, you can get your felony expunged. The only other way to get your felony expunged outside the way that I did it is to get a pardon from the governor. And you all know that's a tough cookie to get. If you are going through the situation right now, or if you know someone who has gone through the situation, before they take a deal or before they make their final conviction, try to see if they can get their probation before judgment worked into their deal. If they have already been convicted and they have already taken their charges and did their time, and this is maybe like 20 years later, you can still probably go before the judge. But I will say, being in that courtroom during the time of me getting my expungement, there were people in there who were trying to get expungements for charges that they had. However, I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, I was locked up in 95 for distribution of heroin, right? The time or limitations of time have gone past. I can get that charge expunged. However, in 2015, I got convicted of another type of felony. That felony is going to block the other felony from being expunged. Therefore, the judge is going to be like, you can't get this one expunged because you have this. So it's going to just take you down. You really have to be in good standing with the law. You really have to make sure that you have no pending convictions, no new convictions, no anything that's going to be something to hinder you from getting the original charges. But I really hope that this information has helped somebody as far as regarding to knowing what you need to do for your case, knowing what you need to do for your friend, your family member, your boyfriend, your partner, whatever the case may be, your girlfriend, whoever. It is a hard process. It is an expensive process, but it is worth all of it because you will get your freedom back, qualify for different jobs, you can get qualified for apartments, for different types of loans. Having a felony hinders you from a lot of shit. I lived a felony life for what, 5-6 years? And I have my degree and my master's. And I'm not saying that to say I'm better than nobody at all. No, but I say that to say that degree didn't mean shit. I just want y'all to know, like, the shit can't happen. But you just gotta have patience, you gotta have diligence, and you gotta have willpower to get through this shit. Because you can have your freedom back. Thank you for watching my Tea Time Tuesdays. I hope that you tune in again next week because I got something a little bit juicier.